Going on, guys? Let's do another video today. I don't know, because I've been doing so much spirituality lately that, to be honest, when I do a one like my Rockefeller, Rothschild, and Hearst video, I kind of feel like I should follow it up and explain something, you know, ancient. So we're going to talk about the Seven Hermetic Principles, okay? This comes from Hermes Trismegistus, okay? That's in Egypt, what he was known as. Okay. Take it back further. He was known as Thoth. Okay. The Emerald Tablets. These are thousands and thousands of year old, the Hermetic Principles. Let's go through them. The first is the principle of mentalism. The all is mind. The universe is mental. Well, welcome to the game. If you watched my most important video I've ever done, where we discovered the fact that we are all, in fact, God, you realize that the universe is mental. That's what quantum physics is now figuring out, that the universe is conscious. That is cutting edge quantum physics. That's ahead of string theory, okay, which we'll get to shortly, okay, because this is another Hermetic principle. So the principle of mentalism is where quantum physics, or not, where quantum physics is right now. And we've learned that we are all God, so it's the same. The principle of correspondence, as above, so below, as below, so above. We talk about this as above, so below, because it's not just an occult phrase that people are scared of. It's literally as in the stars, as below. Okay, you do a lot of back and forth dialogue about this, but basically, what's mapped out in the heavens happens on Earth. Okay, the third Hermetic principle is the principle of vibration. Okay, string theory. Okay, so we just talked about cutting edge in the first principle. We talked about cutting edge quantum physics, being the universe is conscious. Now, the third one is the principle of vibration. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. Now, that sounds a lot like string theory, doesn't it? Which was cutting edge right before. Okay, 6,000 years between the two, between quantum physics and the Hermetic principle. Okay, string theory says that at the Planck level, which is the lowest level that you can get to, okay, there are strings, and how they vibrate and twist and turn gives it its properties, its color, its taste, its energy. That's what it is. It's just energy, and they vibrate, okay? So the first principle of mentalism and the third principle of vibration, Hermetic principles, are the last 20 years of quantum physics. They're only figuring this out now. Okay. Now, the fourth one is the principle of polarity. Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. Okay. When you balance out the good and the bad, the good and the evil, the yes and the no, the polarity that everything exists, understand this. The reason there's shit in the world, okay, the reason that there is evil in the world is because of free will. Okay. People get to do what they want. Okay. And as far as the free will goes, the principle of polarity says that good cannot possibly exist without evil. You need something to measure against it. Everything is polar. Okay. Stars, we have binaries. Every star has its binary star. They're all intricately linked. Okay. The good, the evil, whatever you want to call it, that's you're talking about the principle of polarity. Okay. Everything is dual, everything has poles, has its pair of opposites. Now, the fifth one is the principle of rhythm. And basically, the pendulum swings and manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. Okay. Well, I'm gonna skip kind of over that one because I haven't done much digging into that one, to be perfectly honest with you. But basically, you could think of it kind of like, and I hate talking politics. I do. And I had a comment the other day. Someone was like, he hates talking about politics, but then he talks about politics. I only mentioned the Republican and the Democrat Party to make a point. I did not get into any of their beliefs and say I side one way or another. Okay? So, the principle of rhythm, the pendulum swings. You could think about it a lot kind of like in politics, because the pendulum literally swings. Okay, it's the polarity. You have the dual opposites, the Republicans and the Democrats. There's no room for anything else. And the pendulum just swings back and forth. What happens is one power gets into power, and then they can't handle it well because they can't rule and they can't govern. Because when government gets too big, what happens is they usually go against the people. Okay, this happens all the time until the people revolt. Okay, so that's the pendulum swing, and it goes from Democrats to Republicans, back forth. Same thing in your life. The sixth principle is the principle of cause and effect. Every cause has an effect, every effect has its cause. So you must be understanding of one thing. Okay, we are all God. Okay, now that we know that we are all God, okay, you're asking yourself, well, is there a judgment? I don't know if there's a judgment, to be honest with you. It doesn't seem like there would be. I would imagine that if you live your life in evil, there are repercussions. However, the only truth besides this that I've ever found on earth to be true, everything else is up for debate. Okay, a couple things. I think, therefore I am. Okay, I am being God. I think, therefore I am. Okay, Descartes. And every cause has an effect. The only real thing that I've come to realize that exists is karma. This is why when the elites do their evil things, they always put things in movies, in music. They always put occult information in this. And do you know why? They show you at the Super Bowl halftime. They do this. I'm not going to go into any of that because that's not what I do. Okay, but why do they show you this? Well, because if they show you and you subconsciously accept it, even if you don't outwardly understand what you're accepting, then it offsets their karma because they believe in eternal karma. So that's the principle of cause and effect. That's karma. Then you have the seventh one, okay, which is the principle of gender. Okay, I know this one's going to get heated, but gender isn't everything. Everything has a masculine and a feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes. You can see that in languages. You can see that well, in certain languages, like, Spanish, French, everything is masculine or feminine. Everything has a gender. Okay, it's the polarity. Okay, it's the two sides of the brain hemisphere. It's the left side, which is rigid and literal and knowledge and this and that, and you have the right side, which is creative and artistic and open flowing. It's the feminine and the masculine. Now, I don't care what politics are doing with gender right now. Okay, to me, I don't care what side you fall on, whether you agree with it or you disagree with it. Okay, I don't care either way. Okay, but what it is doing, what it is when you have these giant things like abortion and in politics or gender or things of that nature, it is made in your face as a distraction to keep you from understanding the truths that I talk about on this channel. Okay, that's what it is. At the end of the day, masculine and feminine exist. Okay, now I don't care how many genders there are or how many people think that there are genders. I don't care about any of that. Okay, Hermetic principles 6,000 years ago. Now we just went through all seven. Okay, do you see how prevalent they are to modern day? Do you see how in your face this information is? It's almost as if this text is alive. I mean, the first and the third principles are cutting edge quantum physics over the last 20, 30 years. Then you have the principle of gender. They've always known this. Cause and effect. You have as above, so below. You have all this stuff. All this stuff. So there's an interesting book if you ever want to get it. It's called the Quantum Hermetica. Okay, which goes through the seven principles that I just did basically, and it relates it to quantum physics exclusively. It's a great book, the Quantum Hermetica. So look it up. But I just wanted to share this with you guys and go over the seven Hermetic principles. Hopefully, some of you have never heard this before, but I would suggest that you dive deep into this because this is the ancient wisdom that is hidden from us.